AEO is a growing field right now, especially for local. So today I wanted to show you one of the most practical use cases of creating an ongoing AEO strategy for local clients using some of my favorite softwares in a tech stack. Specifically, these are SplashDash, Ahrefs, Peec AI, and Duda, combining these tools together to create a comprehensive ongoing AEO strategy. This video is going to be broken up into a few different sections. The first one is checking visibility initially, onboarding a project, using MCPs, and then creating a rinse and repeat strategy to improve AI visibility for your clients. So let's get started with the real example that we're going to use in this video for a customer that I'm working with right now called Pure Skin, which is a med spa in Southington, Connecticut. They're already doing really well in organic search results. What I'm going to show you is the methodical way that an agency can start delivering AEO services at scale and give your team a repeatable process. So let's start with the first step, which is checking their initial visibility inside of a tool that I use called SplashDash, and then we'll go into using MCPs to improve that visibility long term. Before getting started, I'm going to establish a simple visibility audit to see where this client is ranking in AI visibility. You can see by doing a ChatGPT scan of 50 prompts, it looks like they're showing up in 41 of them, giving them an impressive 81% visibility score. That tells me that they're ranking pretty well already in ChatGPT, but if I want to monitor this on an ongoing basis, that's where I'm going to use Peec AI to actually monitor this. So my workflow is going to start in Peec AI. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add this business as a project. And for this, I'm going to choose 3 models: AI Mode, AI Overview, and ChatGPT. I find that most consumers are going to use those different places, so those are the different models that I want to track. Now that I have my project set up, I'm going to keep this as is, and I'm going to move over to Claude to start the entire workflow. In Peec AI, I'm going to be able to add brands. These are going to be the competitors that I want to add to the project so that when I communicate with the client, I can showcase to them how they're doing against their competition. So I can do this manually, or I can just use the MCP. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Firecrawl to analyze the top 9 competitors of this business, and then I'm going to use Peec AI to actually add those brands automatically within one prompt. This is going to give me a really easy setup flow, and it's going to allow me to work on other tasks while I'm having Claude do this work. So I'm going to allow this to happen, and I'll come back to the computer once it's all set. Okay, so Claude has confirmed that these competitors were added. I've been working with this client for a long time, and I can tell you that this is very accurate. So now when I come back over to Peec, you'll see that as I was away from my computer, all of this information was already added here. So now I can start tracking the AI visibility of my brand and compared to those brands as well. Okay, so now I'm going to work on actually creating the prompts that I'm going to track, and I'm going to use a very methodical way to do this. The way I'm going to do it is I'm going to use Google Search Console data specifically for the business we're working with, and what I'm looking to find is top queries by impressions. This tells me that this is what people search the most, and I want long tail and conversational queries if possible. Then I'm going to have Claude transform those into natural language prompts by making them conversational, adding my geolocation, and then expanding them into potentially question-based formats. I'm going to ask that Claude returns back 50 AEO ready prompts with the geo modifier of Southington, Connecticut, because when I add them to Peec, or when I add them to the AI visibility tracking, you'll see that prompts are generally a lot longer than keywords. So I'm going to go ahead and run this, and then we're going to come back to the computer and I'm going to show you what it came up with. We're going to take those prompts and then we're going to put them into Peec using the MCP. Okay, so now you can see Claude has actually come up with 50 prompts that I'm going to be able to add into the project. It found high intent, comparison, it found aftercare, it found cost and processes, it found specialty treatment, and all of this information was from my Google Search Console data. So from there, I'm gonna push all 50 prompts into the Peec AI project. I don't wanna add the comparison decision. I really wanna go for the transactional terms, and then I'm gonna run this. And what's gonna happen here is Claude is going to intelligently pick 50 of the prompts that make the most sense. That's automatically gonna be pushed into the Peec AI project. I could step away from the computer, work on different things, and I'll come back to you once all of the prompts are actually added in there. Okay, so now you can see it pushed a total of 37 transactional keywords into the prompt tracking. From there, I could scroll down and see exactly what it did, and I can also see what it removed from that actual run. If I go back into Peec, I can now see that it's going to start tracking all of these different phrases. And really important if you're working with local is that you use the geo modifier, because that's the only way you're going to get visibility. If you just use a random term, it's going to search it nationally, and your client's not going to be able to see that visibility. So from here, we're going to talk about how to continue improving the visibility by updating web pages and, of course, adding new content to the client's website and automatically adding those prompts into your Peec dashboard. So the first thing I'm going to do is see how we stack up against the competition. You can see that the project was now added, all of the prompts were added, and now I'm gaining just some general visibility for that location. You can see the bar graph of their visibility to see who's ranking the most for the key terms I put in. And then what's really cool is you can actually see the actual visibility and how they showed up in the results here. Personally, I love sending this to clients specifically because it allows them to see real information. So I'll start taking a bunch of screenshots here and sending it to the client. What I'm going to do is I'm going to analyze the website. I'm going to compare it against the brands that are in Peec AI. I'm going to identify the content gaps, and then I want Claude to give me an exact working plan that I can give to our web developers and content team for them to execute. It's important to note that I'm using the Duda content management system here, and so I have the Duda MCP set up, so it's going to be able to analyze my website more intensely. So let's go ahead and run this prompt, and I'll be back at the computer once it's ready to show you what it came up with. So I now have an audit of what we can do to improve our AI visibility based on real Duda and Peec data. The first things that we'll see are some content gaps. For example, Hydrofacial showed up in Google Search Console, but there's no page for this actually created, and there was one with an incorrect URL. This search term came up, no page. So all of these things came up and there was actually no URL. So if we want to improve the AI visibility, we want to have a unique URL because crawlers love unique URLs. Then you'll see that there's recommended pages that we add in priority order. These were different things that showed up inside of the Search Console data, but we don't have pages for. And then there is the opportunity to create location pages for each of the different services that they do. The cool thing about Duda content management system is this is one click for dynamic pages for us, but ultimately this would allow us to actually rank really well for all those terms in AI visibility. Then there was optimizations for existing pages, which includes adding FAQs to different pages, price ranges, etc. So by connecting Duda and Peec, I'm intelligently going to make better recommendations than just by winging it. So towards the bottom, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Claude to take this and create an AI visibility report using Duda site stats and Peec data, show them where they are now, the technical changes we're going to work on, and to make this a good report that makes us look good and it's a client of ours. I'm going to have Claude put this into a PDF format so my SEO team knows now what to work on for the next month, and I can share this with the client to review with them. So let's go ahead and run that. We'll cover what the PDF came up with, what it looks like, how I present that to the client, and then we'll end the video on how to keep this ongoing with the customer so that you retain the AEO customer for your life. Now that the PDF is ready, I can make a really nice AI visibility report for the client. What's cool about this is when I vibe code this report, I can make it be the metrics that I want. In this case, I combine Duda and I combine Peec's data to make one comprehensive AI visibility report that's easy for the customer to understand. So for example, I can see where our client is ranking out of all of the AI responses. I could see which performance by AI engine they're ranking, which is the closest competitor. I can also see where there's position to grow. And then also combining some of the Duda stats with that, I can show them real website visitors so they can understand, in this case, how many AI bot crawls are actually visiting their website. I could take a look and see which ones are the dominant, so I can educate the customer on which AI engines are critical. And then it'll provide me with a quick technical roadmap that I can share with the customer, I can share with our team. And then the vibe coded report also gave me a nice little summary of what we're going to measure for progress. So we have what our visibility is today, and then what our 30-day target is going to be and what that difference looks like. This allows me to make AEO a real thing, and it makes the customer be able to see it as if it's a real thing as well. There you have it. I hope this process has been helpful. Just wanted to make some clear disclaimers here too. It's very difficult to attribute AEO traffic into revenue unless your client is doing really good attribution. Things like, how did you find us? And you as the agency or as the professional should be consistently motivating them to invest in their AEO strategy, understand how users are finding them, because after a research study that we've personally done, we found that while discovery might happen in AI, the conversion never happens in AI. Typically, they will leave the AI and search the business and then call, so the attribution can get tricky. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you took something away from it, and I'll see you in the next one.